Hey pals! In this episode, we talked with Pam Sears, an evidential psychic medium and author of 3 books, one of which is a children's book about a little boy meeting his spirit guides. We talk about how Pam found her healing path and met some travelers along the way, like angels disguised as people, and I'm still very intrigued by it and could not stop talking about it. I'm your host, Lauren Leon.
And I'm Frank.
We are a married couple learning how to develop our own intuition, and this is episode 33 of Clairvoyaging. Wayfeather Media presents Clairvoyaging. Do 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 do. Hi, Frank.
Frank's not available, not after that.
Oh no, you don't like that?
I did.
Hey guys.
What's going on?
You know, I just went on a work trip and boy were my arms tired.
No. we have a rule. You cannot make bad jokes until the intro music has ended.
Because then you can't cut it out.
Because it's a tough cut.
Yep.
It's a tough cut.
You're welcome.
But it's also the part of the show where we're the most insecure and most likely to fail.
Well, sorry. So you get what you pay for.
What?
So it's free. So yeah, you can.
I put a ring on it.
I'm talking about the podcast.
Oh.
Oh, here's a little window into our marriage.
Anyway, what you got?
Guys, our journal is finally getting fixed and reprinted. It's been a long road, but we'll get there soon.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. It's one of those like, what lesson are we learning from this? Do you know, Frank? Are we there yet?
Do you know?
No. We've got 100 free mistakes. Those go in promo packs, which leads me to the next thing, which is if you write a review on Apple Podcasts, or even if you just post that like you like our show, send us a screenshot and we'll send you a promo pack, which is now including one of our journals.
Which it still works.
It still works. I sent out a few.
Yeah,
I said, here you go.
Some of the printing is less than satisfactory quality. So
yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah. Anyway, we have a great episode today. We talked with the lovely Pam Sears. She's made quite a name for herself through TikTok. She has a career as a psychic medium. And then she got this little like nudge. She heard a message that said, now do TikTok, which I think is really funny and amazing. She has such a great demeanor and essence, and she's lovely.
And she's the author of 3 books, one of which I just bought 5 minutes ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that. It's called No Nap.
No Nap.
It's about a boy who doesn't want to take a nap. And then while he's like in his room,
he throws a tantrum. And while he's in his room, his spirit guides get in touch with him.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spoil a story, but also I can't because I haven't read it yet because it's coming.
Yeah.
But I'm excited.
But that's so fun. What a great way to teach something and also kind of integrate spirit guides, which I didn't even know existed until like 6 months ago, like whenever we started this podcast.
I mean,
so,
I'd heard of it.
Yeah, but I was like, oh, they're like old ancestors. And I'm coming to find out it's a whole other thing.
Could be anybody.
Yeah, it could be anybody. You could choose them, like Lucy Jane.
Yeah.
So this is a wild ride. Thanks for coming with us. And we hope you enjoy the lovely Pam Sears as much as we did.
She's amazing. Let's hit it.
Roll it, Frank. Pam Sears, thank you so much for joining us on Clairvoyaging. We're so happy to have you with us.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a bit about yourself and how you got to what you're doing now as a psychic intuitive medium?
Actually, ever since I was little, I didn't know exactly what was happening, but I was always hearing people. I was always talking to people, and my mom would say, "Oh God, there she goes again. You know, who are you talking to?" And I would say, "My friends." But I didn't, it wasn't scary or anything. Now, I did come from a very violent household, lots of trauma. And so there were parts of me, I didn't even know what it was about, but I tried to like just put myself in a bubble and shut everybody out. Okay. Yeah. But I fully shut out the voices. No. And that's okay. I just thought, and a lot of times I thought, am I just like answering myself in my head, But so I blocked a lot of that for a lot of years, okay, just for my own protection. But then as I got older, it got stronger and stronger and stronger. As an adult, finally, I went and did some therapy, lots and lots of therapy to help me go through that trauma and healing. And then all of a sudden, it was like, hello, it's time. I was probably actually 30. I still was hearing, but I didn't put it towards anything other than just me and my friends. Okay, so, but when I was 30, it's almost like Spirit said, this is the time when you said you were going to step into your purpose. And the interesting thing is, I didn't listen.
I
didn't listen because single mom, 2 children,
inconvenient
health benefits, health benefits, health insurance benefits, but I knew I didn't belong there anymore. But until one day I walked in and I got fired.
Oh, that'll do it.
We're gonna have a talk about that.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like crushed, and I had my best friend said, congratulations. And I thought, what the hell? And I remember I was swimming my laps in the pool, and I said, what do I do now? What am I going to do? And I heard a very deep voice. I was the only one in the pool, and the deep voice said, massage. And I went, massage? And I stood up out of my swimming laps, and that began the journey. I started in massage college, learned a lot of healing techniques. Yeah. And from there, everything just opened up. I didn't think anything of it. I just thought, okay. And I knew that I wanted to work with people. I knew I wanted to help people. Mm-hmm. And, for those out there who might be similar to me that, are neurodivergent or whatever you want to call ADHD, ADD, the corporate world was a struggle for me.
Same.
Because it was all up here and working with my hands. I didn't have to do anything other than just do my work. And that's where I belong.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Huh.
Yeah.
That speaks to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting to me how everything came in divine timing. Okay. Yeah. So being a massage therapist, I thought, okay, this is it. This is my purpose. This is it. And I remember there was an elderly man who came for his very first massage. I worked for doctor's office. And I remember he had like the whitest hair, and he had the most crystal blue eyes I had ever seen. And I thought, this guy's a little different. Anyway, so I'm the massage therapist. He's the patient. And he begins to tell me that he has this issue, with the arm. And I'm like, okay, I'll do such and such. And he goes, no, let's try something different today. And I'm like, who's the massage therapist here? And he kept talking to me about energy.
Oh,
and I'm like, what are you talking about? And he kept going on and talking about how he wanted me to do some things with the arm. And I remember my spirit team saying, just do it, just listen, just do it. So I humored the guy, and he said, I want you to place your hands over this area. I want you to feel for discrepancies in energy and things like that. And so I thought it was the craziest thing in the world, but I did.
Yeah.
And I did feel the discrepancies. And when I felt that, he asked me to move those energies out. Okay. And when that session was like halfway done, I said, who are you? And he said, I'm just a traveler.
Oh.
And he said,
give me chills.
Time for you. He said, it's time for you to do your work.
What?
Never saw him again. Never saw him. And that was the next level.
Hold on. I need a second with that one. That like, who do you think? I don't want to ask questions yet, but I usually I want you to finish your story. Who do you think that was?
There are travelers. There are travelers in the cosmos. That's their goal, is to help people move into their purposes. But somebody kept saying, "Oh, you met a traveler. How neat is that?" They're spirit beings in a human body. Well, we're all spirit beings in a human body, but their specific goal is to travel around and help people. That's who I thought it was. Okay.
Wow.
A guide? Yes, absolutely. One of those guides that steps in temporarily and then moves on.
Have you met anybody like that since?
Several.
Okay. I'll finish your story,
I'm
and then
floored by that.
Several things have happened during the course of this. And after a bit, I began to, in my massage practice, I began to hear clear messages as I was touching the clients. And all of a sudden, it changed from just being massage therapy and energy healing to mediumship and giving messages as I was in their energy field.
Whoa.
And I didn't realize that would be, the next thing that happened.
Yeah.
But it seemed to just be in divine timing. And so because I'm already in their energy field, it just made it so much easier for spirit to show up.
Yeah.
So I did that for a long time. And then when I decided to retire from massage practice, spirit's like, well, you're going to devote like full time now to your mediumship practice. Okay. Let the younger ones do the massage work. I mean, I'm 70, so I've been doing it for 25 some odd years.
Wow.
Okay. And what was interesting is when I said to my sons, there's going to come a time when I leave Phoenix, move up north, okay, volunteer at my sacred place. And they're like, okay, COVID hit. There was my sign.
Yeah.
So I packed up the house, sold the house, moved up here, thinking I was just going to be doing volunteer park ranger. But then all of a sudden, social media opened wide open, and I'm kind of rural. I'm outside the city now. So the energy here is so conducive for me to expand that all of a sudden, boom. And it's like the more things that happen and I practice and allow, that's a big word, allow, the more it happened. And so that's currently where I'm at, is doing the social media, several places. So that's my story.
I like that story.
I love that story. Did your spirit guides, because you have like a lot of followers on TikTok, was there a put it out on social media? Did you get a spirit guide guidance for that too?
When I moved here, okay, and I thought, well, I'm semi-retired. Let's see, what I'm going to do here. And I had my private practice for the longest time of just the personal one-on-one. And the voice was, and I remember specifically, it was Thanksgiving, and the voice said TikTok, and I went, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And the voice is like, yeah, you are.
That's such a funny message to get.
It's a funny message. It goes, yes, you are. And yes, you are, because that's where you're needed.
Wow.
And I thought, I learned a long time ago, why argue?
Yeah.
It's not going to do any good. They're going to keep pounding until, because think about this, we've already agreed to do it. It's just a matter of being reminded that we're supposed to be at this point in time, the next divine timing to do this. So I did. I started it up, and it was a little bit insane. And then I realized there was a lot of things on there that I didn't like.
Yeah.
And so I said, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to just get out of this TikTok. And the voice said, there are people who need you.
Wow.
Forget the negative.
Yeah.
And stay with the positive. And it just made so much sense after I started realizing people that found me and they needed guidance and they needed help. So many people are wanting help.
Yeah.
They're reaching out. So, as much as some of it is negative and there's a lot of stuff on there I don't agree with, I understand when spirit guides said, but you're needed, and you agreed to it.
Yeah. Do you find that you have like a huge range of audience, or do you have like, this is the people that I am speaking to? Like, this is my little niche of.
It's my little niche. And there's just like, and of course, I made a promise to myself that I would not do any form of mediumship sessions for those under 18. Mm-hmm. I've been a child advocate for so many years, and I think they should be kept safe. All right. So, but, I have people all the way up. I mean, all ages. And I'm impressed with some of the younger ones, 20s, opening up to their own spirituality. I love that.
That's great.
It's funny. When TikTok first came around, I was extremely resistant because I'm like, you get, and we're dealing with this for a certain extent too, with the podcast of like trying to break out of where the algorithm is forcing us to be. So when I first signed up to TikTok, it asks you those basic questions. I am a man. I am of this age or whatever. And I'm like, okay, let's see what this is about. Literally everything was half naked girls dancing because that is the demographic it believes I belong to. And I was like, whoa, this is.
He's like, how do I get out of
this? They're too young for me, and also I'm married, so like this is for the kids.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I trained that algorithm, like, wait a minute, there's people like Pam on there who like are interested in things that I'm interested in. Now it's starting to connect me with the people that I like.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And sometimes you got to clear your algorithm out and start all over again, because all of a sudden, where did that come from?
Yeah.
And so my purpose in life and what I love and my passion is to bring forward, comfort for people and healing. Everyone wants to know, is my loved one okay?
Yeah.
Did my loved one cross over to the light? Everybody, there's a lot of grief and there's a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And even if I have a bunch of people, say on my live, and I always do a lot of mediumship sessions on there, even if I didn't bring someone forward for that person, they can hear that someone else's loved one validates that they're still around, that they watch. So even if you don't get a session on there, you can't give everybody a session, but they all can go away with some comfort.
Seeing it through someone else, you're like, okay, things seem to be okay in general. It also gives a little bit of comfort, I think, for ourselves, because there is that fear of what is after this, and should I be scared to die and all that. So it's helpful on both fronts.
Right.
Okay. Can I switch? I'm going to switch gears a little bit.
Frank goes into this mode of like, I've been marinating on a few things.
I take notes, and then I have a couple of questions. You said that you always knew you were talking to people, or like
friends.
Your friends.
Yeah.
At what point were you able to identify them as actual like spirit guides or your spirit team?
I would say, during my 20s, I was out partying and doing my thing. So I would say like the late 20s, early 30s is when all of a sudden I began to explore more of my own spirituality. And that's when I realized, these are people, these are guides, and they're my helpers. So I was excited about that because I wanted to learn, who are you? Give me more input, you know?
Yeah.
Did you like read or learn something, or was it just from like meditation, or how did you determine what they were?
I don't meditate well. I do what I call walking meditations in nature. That's where I get most of my downloads.
Cool.
I read a lot of books. A lot of past life books, a lot of spiritual books. One of the ones that opened my eyes the most is the book called Journey of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton. Mm. When I read that, I thought to myself, yep, there it is. There's everything I've always believed in, and someone wrote it in a book.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Now I began to, communicate with my guides and say, can you give me some input? Can you tell me this? Can you show me this? And the more I asked, and then the validations that I got, more came. So it was a matter of me, myself, and I communicating, because when I was developing on my own. There was no development circles.
Yeah.
There wasn't classes or courses. It was just me and my spirit guides.
I mean, that's such a good point, because, at a day and age where everyone feels like they can connect with anybody, there always feels like, and for me too, I feel like I need to find the right group to help me. And there's so many options, and I know that, like, if I were to just take the time and like look internally, like I have all the answers I need.
Correct.
But like, there's I think that's one of the pitfalls of the internet and globalization in general, is that we outsource our intuition to other people.
Yes. I agree. I mean, are development circles helpful for some people? Sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure, the right ones,
right.
Like you said, there's a lot out there, and, sometimes people are learning things that maybe aren't for the highest good.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But we believe others above ourselves, and we're not supposed to do that.
Right.
We are supposed to believe ourselves first.
Yeah.
First and foremost. Yeah.
And I'm guilty of it. I made a podcast to talk to other people, but in the same respect, like, there is like an incredible knowledge base that we can tap into. And like, I think we can learn a lot in a shorter period of time.
Yes.
You said that. So like you're in your 20s, you're in your mid to late 20s, and you have recognized what your spirit team is, what your spirit guides are. And at what point what was the impetus for you to get into therapy in your 30s?
Going through a divorce, having children, and I'd never really looked into some of that past trauma. Let me put it this way. It happens a lot for all of us. It's the soul. It's the soul knowing it's time.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like I had that undeniable urge to say, you know what? I got to deal with this. I got to look at that.
Yeah.
And by doing that, then other things opened wide open, even more so. So it's like, if we do what our guidance is telling us to do, the awesome things that come, we can't even, foresee any of that. Is it painful to go through some trauma and go through therapy? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is it worth it? Yes, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So having worked through that, what was the before and after for you? Like, what did that open up for you?
The before was being closed off more. I mean, yes, I was still communicating and hearing spirit and things, but I was closed off to, let me just say, love and communicating with people and, friendships. Afterwards, one of the things that I did was I began to volunteer at a child crisis shelter to help those babies, and that, it was just incredible to sit in a room with little ones and I didn't have to do anything. As healers, we don't have to do anything. We just are there, and the energy just goes out, and the children were just loving every bit of it.
Oh.
And after the therapy, then I began to realize, some of the stuff that I was holding on to didn't belong to me. Didn't belong to me. If I can release that and let it go, I make room for other things in my life. And that's when, things like really busted wide open. And all of a sudden I found myself, in the old MSN chat room days. I don't think you guys know about that, but in the old MSN chat room days, I was always seeking and learning, and I was in spiritual chat rooms. And all of a sudden, I found myself in a chat room that I don't know how in the hell I got in there, okay? This lady's name was illuminated to me. I mean, it lit up. The next thing I know, things were coming out of my mouth that I didn't even know what was being said, what was happening here. It's like,
oh, wow.
Somebody was almost like, talking for me.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'd be typing as fast as I was talking. And I kept thinking to myself, I don't believe this. I don't know what this is, but I don't believe that this is happening. And of course I wasn't trusting. And then one of the things that really struck me towards the end of that information I was giving, it was a young widow. And I started giving her a song and the lyrics. And she said, that was our wedding song.
Ooh.
Wow.
And then I'll tell you what, I was up all night. Like, this is real. This is something that I can do, that I can help people. And I'm like, but why me? Why me? Why not?
Why not?
Spirit said, why not?
Yeah.
That's so affirming.
That was one Francisco's question too. Like, what, like, it's almost like it feels too big for you. Like, who am I to like be trusted with this information or this vulnerable, like sensitive stuff? That's a responsibility that feels big. Yeah.
And like all this began to happen after I went and looked at my own garbage. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was still like, it took a long time for me to say, but of all the things that have happened to me in my life, and there's been a lot, I don't understand why I'm going to be the one that's going to help people, or one of the people that helps people. And, then I began to realize those of us who have looked at our traumas, faced those fears, why not help others?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do the same. And so that would make sense. Okay. That would make sense.
We've been talking about that a lot lately, where like I've been trying to put into action. I have a lot of trauma and grief, and I'm like, well, I got to do something with it. So using it and turning it into wisdom and help and healing and support for other people. At least it's like, what else do I do with this here?
I will share something quickly as well. I was a smoker and a drinker. Okay. When I was doing little mini chair massages at a metaphysical store way back when, I had a lady come sit, and I was working on her shoulders, and she said, I have a message for you. And I'm like, what? And she said, you have to quit smoking because Spirit says it's a smoke screen and they can't get through as well as they want to get through. And I'm like, what? You know what? It made a lot of sense. When she told me that, when something feels right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When something feels right. And sure enough, when I eventually gave that up and the drinking, it's amazing when you give up certain things that kind of confine you.
Yeah.
You just open, I keep getting cracked open left and right. And here I am 70, and I moved up here 4 years ago. I'm still getting cracked open. It's never ending.
That's incredible.
That's a journey.
You also, like these messages from people just kind of like giving you these little nudges. How cool is that?
It's
I can't get over
cool.
the traveler. I'm still
Hold on. We'll get to the traveler. We'll get to the traveler.
I just keep thinking about it.
something regarding like the smoking and drinking and stuff. I'm not a heavy drinker or anything like that, but I have noticed lately when I go to a party and I have a couple drinks, even if I never really feel like intoxicated in any way, and this just happened to me recently, the next day I am a shell, up to many days afterwards, I'm a shell of myself. I'm like, I feel terrible. And I don't know if I have like a larger medical issue going on, or if like I am just being led to stop doing that entirely, which I keep feeling it's that. I keep feeling like it's that. Yeah. And because I'm so deep into wanting to like evolve my own spirituality that I think
there's your soul going like
exactly.
Yeah.
And people said to me, what do you mean you just, because I drink heavy to block a lot of the pain out. Mm-hmm. You can't just stop drinking. You have to go to AA. And I said, I just stopped. I just woke up one day and I said, and they're like, some people can stop.
Yeah.
I had my guides and I had my helpers.
Yeah.
And I just stopped.
Well, that's amazing.
I don't miss it. I don't miss it at all.
Right.
No.
Well, you have a richer life now, I'm assuming.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you now. So you were in therapy. You've explained that through your life, you keep getting cracked open, but I want to know exactly what getting fired did for you. Cause you said that was a difficult transition for you. Like, what was your thought process and how did you come out on the other end with that?
It caused a lot of fear. It caused a lot of fear because I've been in the corporate world for 20 years. I have these 2 young children, okay, at a steady income. It made me totally afraid.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, I knew that I did not belong in that corporate world, but I didn't know where I belonged. But I also, as I said, had my spirit guides, and I knew that they were going to help me. I just had no idea that it was going to start with massage college. And I still doubted myself, like, should I just go find another job at a corporate job? But you know what? When we listened to that internal GPS, it kept saying, no, we got you. We got your back.
I'm laughing because
we're both laughing.
Yeah, I'm laughing. We're laughing because you are saying my words right now. Like,
this is the exact thing that Frank is having. So maybe you are the person like sending a message to Frank, because that's exactly what he's been talking about lately.
And ad nauseum. Sorry, listeners, you've heard it too much. But like to the 20 years I've worked in corporate stuff for 20 years. I got laid off in November. I haven't looked for another corporate job because I'm not being led to find another one, but I don't know what to do. I have an idea, but it's a very loose idea. I'm not as practiced at interfacing with my spirit guide. So I feel a little helpless right now, but also I know that I need to, if I'm going to do anything, I need to work through my personal traumas, which is what I've been talking about a lot lately.
Yeah.
So
now also when I was, and I'm sure you'll understand this as well, when I'm going through that, I'm saying, bring me some signs, bring me some concrete evidence or something about what it is. And if I'm going to be doing it, is it the right thing to do? And I had already learned from my spirit guides, we had an agreement, and I would say, I want an in my face sign.
Yep.
Have you asked that question, Frank?
Sometimes I have some kind of weird block, and this is what I was realizing even last night. I say to myself, I got to ask that question, and I don't actually get around to asking it, even though I know I have it. There's something about verbalizing it that I have like a block. I need to work through it.
Just ask the question.
But just ask the question. But this also comes back to what you were saying, Pam. Like, you had talked about getting into a positioning yourself where you can allow things to happen. Were you, in a way, like at some point, like trying to force something else? Because I am.
No. I learned early on. In one of my books, I even wrote a poem called "Fighting the River." I just realized if we fight and we fight and we fight, that's just wasting so much precious energy. If we go with the flow of the river, like my poem says, there you go. And are there waves and rapids? Yeah. but there's also the smooth times. But all of it is important. How can we go out and help other people find their way or bring comfort when we haven't done our own?
Yeah.
So I just said, okay, I tell you what, I'm going to be open, be gentle with me. Were they gentle? No.
That's part of the fun though, right? Like living on Earth, like it's not about like having an easy time. It's about the challenge.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like getting kicked in the butt when you really need it because you're like, well, okay, I'm not listening. Fine.
Yeah. And you get to the point where you say, bring it. Come on, bring it.
Yeah.
Be careful. Did I just say that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. Okay. Is there, as far as like your early development, is there anything else you want to throw in that I haven't actually asked about? Because I'm going to let Lauren start asking about travelers.
I want to hear about more travelers.
I just think that, in early development, not listening to outside forces and listening to the inside. I mean, I had plenty of people say, you're wackadoodle, right? You're wackadoodle.
Yeah. And
you just have to go, okay, just whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was just a matter of really trusting. I mean, it took a while for me to even have that trust with my guides because I was like, okay, all right, we got this. Yeah. So it's about listening and not listen to the outer forces. That's all I would say about that.
That's great.
I mean, that's the game, isn't it? Inner intuition.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will ask you one more thing. I actually don't have actual question formulated for this, but I'm hoping maybe you can enlighten me a little bit. Gosh, since we've been engaging in this community, I so deeply want to develop myself so that I can help other people. And you're the same. Lauren's the same. All of the gifted and intuitive people that we've spoken to are the same. It seems like something that's so built into our nature to want to do, and I can't help but think that it's like, I don't know if it's a calling. I mean, I'm sure there are people who aren't living into their like soul's contract, and they like don't want to help people. They want to do something else, but it's just an observation.
I would say this: I believe that the collective are coming together because things have to change. Things have to change on this earth. All right.
Yeah.
So as a collective, I feel that we're all, this is something that we all want. And we should all be collectively, we should all be opening our own selves up and listening and having that our own spiritual journey. Does that mean everyone's going to be out there, giving sessions and such? Oh God, no. No.
Yeah.
It's not meant for everyone to do that. But I do believe that what we can do as a community is to help collectively those learn to honor their own spirit and their own journeys.
Do you find that like there are more people opening up now versus even 10 or 15, 20 years ago? Do you sense like an urgency? Like you were saying, like the collective is like, it's this understanding of like, oh, yikes.
Now it's like that cracking wide open versus just me. Collectively, there's a cracking wide open.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it seems like.
Look at the world right now. Look at all the issues and such. And, and I think that's why so many people are like, that's why they're on social media. That's why they're, unfortunately, some go from psychic room to medium room to tarot room to oracle card rooms seeking answers. That's not the best thing to do either.
Sure. Right.
But you can still get that help, that little bit of information that helps that spark within you grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard this period of time called referred to as a decision point in how you want to have, your reality or our collective reality evolve. And I sometimes wonder if I'm finding those things because I am seeking them or if they've always been there. And you know what I mean? Like how much is happening in my head versus like, what are we all going through?
I personally think it's always been there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's always been there. It's like that little tiny flame deep inside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that all of a sudden you feed the fire, and it grows. But I think it's always been there.
So along the lines of that, then, like we had our friend Emily. Anybody who listens to the show knows Emily Bolsick. She went to Venice with us to canvas strangers about what their experiences were. It was pretty fun. What's your thing episode? Yeah.
How cool.
She came over just the other night, and we were talking about, is this, we're all kind of going on this spiritual journey together. And is this actually happening, or are we collectively going crazy, like our little group of friends? And it like, you know, even talking to you, Pam, like you're saying there was a period of your life where you're like, am I going crazy? And people are questioning me. Are you going crazy? It just seems like it's part of the transition into like maybe a better.
But, you know, it's okay to question. It's okay to question.
Yeah.
Because they want us. Our guides want us to question. Because how do you grow? You question.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Yeah.
There's always like the fear in the background that like, oh, I'm being duped by something, or like, you know, I'm.
You've bought into some nonsense.
Yeah.
I mean, think of that traveler guy. I thought this guy's nuts, and I'm being duped.
Right.
I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Who's the massage therapist here?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, things began to open up, but without my guide saying, just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Yeah.
Did you learn any like energy healing after that, like Reiki or any other?
I wasn't really drawn to Reiki. I was drawn to therapeutic touch. As he was showing me above the body. Therapeutic touch is not touching the body; it's above the body.
Yeah,
and it's dealing with the energy field. I was very drawn to that, and I was actually taught the technique therapeutic touch by the Nurse Healers Association. And it's interesting because you run into all these spiritual people that are like little educators, little teachers, and they said, you've always had it, but you didn't know you had it.
Yeah.
and you didn't need to take a class, but I mean, taking a class helped me put things in perspective.
Yeah.
But they're like, when healers are born, they don't have to do anything. They're just there. They can be in a room full of people. They can be whatever. They're just there. But I just, and that began to help me also, which I didn't say, there's a long journey of my life. I became a hospice massage therapist for 9 years.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
The amount of techniques that I used for that was incredible.
Yeah.
Talk about 9 years. I had some psychic experiences that blew my mind.
Oh, I bet.
So, woo.
Like helping people transition into the, like you're kind of helping with the bridge.
If you want a quick story, I have so many, and some of the stories, the hospice stories, are in my book. I had a gentleman, and I went to his house, and we do lymphatic work, and we do the energy work and massage. And I remember him saying, "Can you get up and change the TV?" Because he wanted a cooking show. So I got up to change the station, and there was somebody that was right behind me. And in my head, I'm saying, "Who's this?" And I heard, she said, "This is Barbara." Now, anyone who's professional psychic medium knows you don't go blurting things out to people without consent and all that. And I knew his religious background. It wasn't a good idea. So I thought, okay, that's fine. And I began to work with him. And then he said something to me, and he said, "Hey, did I ever show you a picture of my wife? Oh. She died 5 years ago." And I said, "No." And he said, "This is Barbara."
Oh.
And I knew that Barbara was there to escort him home. And the next week he did cross over.
Wow. Oh. I can only imagine working in hospice is like just a crash course in everything that related to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
That's a tough gig.
Yeah.
But also such a beautiful thing to do. My sister-in-law is a hospice nurse, and she loves it. And she just finds it such a beautiful thing.
And being an infant massage specialist, I got a lot of the children. Oh. And, my heart has just been incredibly full when I had all that work. It's not work, passion, I would say passion.
Yeah.
My heart still stays full. After 9 years, I knew that it was time to move on to do something else.
Yeah, that's amazing.
What other traveler stories?
Yeah, okay, it's traveler time. Wait, actually, I want to make sure we're respectful of your time. Do you have a hard out or anything?
I'm good.
Okay.
Oh, I have an interesting story that, once again, still working for the the doctor's office, and I had an elderly woman come in. Okay, and she was face up, and I was working on, maybe the upper part of her body. And she said, and once again, her eyes, boom, 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 those sparkly blue eyes. And she said, there's somebody else in the room with us. And I'm like, what? No. And she said, yes. And I'm like, I don't think so. And I thought, oh, I got a lady here that's, maybe not all, sure, maybe not all there. And she goes, yeah. And she described what he looked like. It was almost like, the old priest with the hat and the robe. And, she goes, he's so regal and he's just awesome. And I went, okay. And I just thought, I'm not going to engage in this conversation. And she said, he helps you do your work. And I'm like, what? She goes, yeah, he helped you do your work. And I'm thinking in my mind, I don't believe it. And she said, he's telling me that you don't believe him. And I'm like, okay. And she said, he's telling me to tell you that yesterday you were given a gift of a snow globe. And inside the snow globe was a bird. And it's a music box, because I collect music boxes, and you took it home and you put it on the second shelf there on the right before going down the hallway.
Oh my
and that's
gosh.
exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. Now, there's no way that she would have known that.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, oh man, here we go again. Yeah. Now what? But I began to realize, because when we're being guided to place our hands over maybe a certain part of the body, why not have someone working with us to help with that? Because we're not the healers. The healing flows through us.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
So I accepted that's who he was. His name was Joshua.
Was that another little breakthrough, or did it help you kind of interact with that spirit?
It helped me more to know that I wasn't alone in trying to help people.
Right.
That cool. I wasn't. Yeah. I mean, I knew I had my guides, okay, but I wasn't alone in trying to, do this healing work and this energy work. I wasn't by myself. I had somebody helping me, and that made a huge difference for me. Like, just place your hands. Somebody said, "How did you know to put your hand over there?" And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We're here to awaken to our abilities and to help all the collective.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I heard recently that the big end game in all of this is that we're basically, we call ourselves human beings, but we are learning how to fully be human being, to develop to our full potential. And then, I don't know, I'm assuming move that forward to the next incarnation of some kind.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's such an interesting concept to me. It almost helps helps me put things into perspective of everything in between is either a distraction or a lesson to learn. Once you get to the point where you can evolve yourself and evolve those around you, then you're doing the thing you're supposed to be doing. So that comes back to why I was asking about everyone that we're surrounded by being led to helping people in some way. which is such a basic want to want to help people, but also it's the whole reason why we're here in the first place, potentially. So it's no small feat. While it's common, it's also novel at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
What a conversation. You're awesome.
Yeah. Pam, do you have any final thoughts? And man, I don't know. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
I do. I was told this a long time ago. If you follow your heart, it'll never steer you wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
So some people think, am I following my heart or am I using my head? You'll know there's a difference. You know the difference.
Right.
Okay. So, and we all have guides. We all have angels. We can all communicate with our loved ones on the other side. You don't need me. Nobody needs me or any other medium to communicate with their loved ones. They can do that all on their own. And eventually, if you let yourself listen, you'll feel, you'll hear, you'll sense that they're there. I just think that we're just guides helping people find their own way. And I'm also focused on we talked a bit about this, about children and children, we're there to help the children because actually some of them are helping us when you think about it.
Absolutely.
They're born cracked wide open.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I wrote a children's book.
Yes. I meant to ask you about that.
Children and their spirit guides. Now, I focused, and this one's called No Nap, and I did write it for my grandson, Xander. And I put the No Nap because I wanted to have a story. Children's books should have a problem to solve.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So what I did was, and I'll show you briefly, he throws a temper tantrum because he doesn't want to take a nap. Okay. While he's in timeout is when his spirit guides show up. My illustrator, God sent her to me. She had never done such a book. Well, there's hardly any books out there about this.
Yeah.
While he's in timeout, look, all his spirit guides show up. Look.
That's amazing.
Okay? And his main guides, Liam and Lexi, and they help him understand why naps are important and how to say sorry to mom and dad. And in the back of the book, there is a page just for parents.
Oh, that's so great.
Just for parents. Like, don't be afraid. Our little ones see, hear, no spirit.
Yeah.
Be open, encourage them, because when, so many times people say, why do children shut down after a bit? Because we say, oh, it's your imagination.
Yeah.
That's nothing. And then we just begin to just forget.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that with this book, it helps children not forget and to stay open to spirit. That's my goal. So
I love that. And also helps the parents keep the conversation healthy, supportive, and open.
Yes.
So where can people find the book and where can people find you?
I do have it on Amazon. It's on Amazon. I'm an author of 3 books, but this is the one that I've been real focused on.
Yeah.
So it is called No Nap, and it's on Amazon. There are a lot of reviews. You can go and read those and get a little bit of input. There are some little ones who it's helped a lot because they're already seeing spirit. And now with the book, it's helping them understand, hey, you're okay.
Yeah, I'm going to buy that in 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're on TikTok. Any other social media plugs you got?
I'm on TikTok. I have a YouTube channel. I have an Instagram page. I've kind of not been so much on the book face or the Facebook, shall we say. There was just a lot of troubles on there. So I'm pretty regular on those 3 platforms. Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
We'll link them all.
Pam, thank you so much for talking to us today.
Yeah.
This was such a pleasure.
Thank you for asking me to be here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think we'll talk to you soon. And I'm definitely about to buy a book.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, I've been donating it to libraries. I've been trying to donate it to, schools, daycares. My goal is to reach those children and parents.
Yeah.
To make things not so taboo, because it's not taboo.
Oh,
yeah.
No,
that's exactly what we're going for.
That's how this started.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We'll put a link in the show notes too to the book.
Yeah.
Okay.
We love that.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Oh, no, thank you.
I appreciate it. Nice meeting both of you.
You as
Very nice to
well.
meet you.
Thank you so much, Pam.
We'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening. Visit www.clairvoyaging.com for show notes, merch, or just to say hi. If you'd like to support our journey, visit www.buymeacoffee.com/clairvoyaging. This has been a production of Wayfeather Media.